Right, hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another review from Air Rifles UK. The rifle I'm going to be reviewing today, if you haven't already guessed by the video description, is the Sig Sauer MCX. But before I dive into the review, I would just like to say a big thank you to Pull the Trigger for lending me this rifle. Without them, this review would not have been possible. So please go to their website, which is www.pullthetrigger.co.uk, and check out the vast selection of stock them guys have to offer. If you are not local to the West Country, then they can ship your items to your nearest RFD for a small and honest fee. And if you are local, I advise you to go check them out because they're a really good shop. I've been a happy customer with them guys for years. The atmosphere in there is very relaxed, and they'll even offer you a tea or coffee while you wait, which I think is a nice touch. I've never had a sale pushed on me, and the one time I wanted something that was out of stock, they ordered it in for me and I was able to pick it up next payday. They also have a Facebook group where you can join in with competitions and see what the latest offers are and read reviews from other happy customers. Now, I won't explain that in such detail every time I do a review, but for the sake of everybody's sanity, but for the first time I feel it's a given I should do so with more info about the shop that has sponsored AR UK, because without them I would not be able to bring you so many reviews or keep up with demand in the future. So yeah. Right, now then guys, the review. Just a few little stats and facts about the gun. The rifle is imported into the UK via a UK based company called Highland Outdoors. The rifle is currently retailing in the UK for £300. The rifle comes in 177 and 22. This version is in 177. It weighs 8 pounds or 3.6 kilograms when fitted with a 90-gram CO2 cartridge. The barrel length is 21 inches or 533 millimeters, and I'm very sorry for that, but I forgot to take the overall length of the rifle. I'm guessing it's about a metre, but again, I'm sorry I forgot to bring that fact with me. Out of each 90-gram CO2 cartridge, you get 210 shots, or an easier way to think of it is 7 full magazines. Each mag contains 30 pellets. There is no rated power on the box or anywhere online for this rifle because Sig say the Sig Sauer MCX air rifle, like all CO2 powered air rifles, is sensitive to temperature and shoots slower in cooler temperatures. This means that no muzzle velocity figures for the MCX or any CO2 powered airgun has any meaning unless it is combined with both the weight of the pellet fired and the temperature of the gun and its surroundings. So yeah, I won't bother. But from what I see, people claim to be getting about 4.5 foot-pounds after having a little butcher's online. That's generally the figures that people are claiming to get. Now for some stuff we can verify, the rifle features it's a double action trigger, not semi-auto, which is why it's legal to own in the UK. It has a rubberised butt pad at the back for recoil. The gun doesn't give off any recoil, but it's there all the same. It has front and rear flip-up sights, so they can be put down with ease, easy as you like. Ambidextrous manual safety. There's a 30-shot belt-fed magazine, and it takes the 90-gram CO2 cartridges. Incidentally, I didn't even know that them things existed. I thought it was 88 and that was your lot, but 90 grams recently been produced, and this rifle benefits from that better than 88. It has an integrated key mod handrail with integrated Picatinny optics rail on top of the foregrip. The barrel is rifled and shrouded. It comes with a removable and replaceable foregrip. So I'll just turn this around for a minute so you guys can have a look at the other side now. To say that comes off, you can put it anywhere you want it really, whichever is comfortable and more ergonomic for yourself. Semi-ambidextrous controls. It's produced to be a target rifle and a weapons training rifle, but it is worth noting that the forward assist, shell deflector, takedown pins and dust covers are all part of the mould and do not function, and that the mag release can only be operated on the right side. Now to finish, in my opinion, the pros are, this is a good one, you will own a fully licensed Sig, and it really does look the part. So, you take ownership of that gun, you know that it's a real Sig and it's been produced by Sig, and I think that's a nice cool fact to know. It comes with a lot of features out the box, i.e. the key mod handrail all along and around the foregrip and the aftermarket hand grip. So there's an aftermarket assault rifle hand grip, which is nice, so it prevents you from having to go and do that yourself. The flip up sights mean that if anything should happen or go wrong with your scope when you're out shooting, you're not a complete loss. Should you really wish to carry on shooting, you presume you'd have something like this with you when you're out for the day, or at least a multi-tool in your pocket. You know, whip the scope off, flip these up, and you're good to carry on shooting, should you wish to. You have to cock it like a real assault rifle, so the charge handle needs to be fully drawn back, released, and then that primes the primes the carburetor. I'm thinking of car terms. It then primes the magazine and the barrel, and it gets the gun all good to go. And then from then on, it's a double action trigger. Have a high shot count per fill and a high metal content to the frame. Very little of the rifle is a plastic composite, and it is also a lot of fun to use. Unfortunately, the cons is you have to have both. The rifle does rattle a bit when being shaken lightly. The noise comes from a few components, namely the trigger for one. The trigger has a fair bit of creep, but does play a role in indexing the next pellet from the belt-fed mag. The mag takes a fair bit of time to load and must be done correctly. When removing the belt from the magazine, you must do it in a clockwise fashion. So if I can just demonstrate. When you access the mag, or when you go to load it up, if you look at it from that way, so that this bit's on your right, that then opens up to your right, and what you have to do is you have to find the black section of the belt, and it needs to be removed that way. If you don't do it that way, you're going to cause a lot of damage to your mag, and when it goes back in, it needs to go back in a clockwise fashion, and you just, sorry if you can't see, you just push it round. There's a little like groove on top of each of these, and it goes into a runner so that it's guided in, and yeah, that's how you fill the mag up. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now, guys, is just demonstrate how you gas the rifle up. So what you have to do is remove that, and before you do put any gas into the gun, you're advised to wear safety goggles. So I'm just going to grab some. Please bear with me. So safety is important, as we all know. I think the best way to do this is to get it like that. Make sure that the threads are biting, which it has done. Obviously the gun is in safe mode, and that's it. That's that done. What you then do is return this onto here, and that's the gun then gassed up and good to go. Just going to demonstrate the magazine and the process of filling the magazine up. Unfortunately, this is a very long-winded process. What you have to do is lift that up like that, and when you're holding it looking this way on, this will be on the right, and what you can then do is take it out, he says, and it must be done in a clockwise fashion. So if we can just locate where it is. Right, so yeah, that's it there, the black one is starting. As I say, it has to come out in a clockwise fashion, so that being clockwise, draw it out that way, okay? And it's important to do it that way each and every time, because if you don't, you're damaging your gun. And then this way has to be done like this, so you put the metal links down, go downwards, and then from there, you're then able to load up some pellets. So I've got some JSB exacts with me today, because you never really go too far wrong with them, I don't think. And what you can do, I suppose, is put one at a time, and then go all the way along, and then proceed to put it down with this tool. This helps the pellet to be seated into the magazine correctly. What I'm going to do, I think, is one at a time, or a few at a time, I think. In actual fact, I think the best thing to do is to just stick the pellets in all the way along, and then go along with the seating tool, and then perform that as well. As I say, there's no shortcuts really for this. It's something that needs to be done in order to enjoy the use of the gun. Obviously, all air guns need filling up and loading up and what have you. This one is just a particularly annoying one to do. but it's fun once it's done. So now I've finished talking, I'll speed this process up so you guys haven't got to sit and watch it. Right, so that's that done. The process is not actually that bad really, once you get going. I'm just going to fill this up now, hopefully get it to put back in the right way. You've got like a series of grooves on all of the belt, and basically that groove has to go into the groove that's there on the magazine. So you just feed it through slowly in a clockwise fashion again as well, and then that is the magazine loaded up and the process demonstrated. So let's get to the fun bit. Move this out of the way. There you go, magazine's in, rifle is charged, and we can, as you can see, we can access the safety from both sides, which is just awesome in my opinion. This is the first time I've fired this rifle, so if I get a bit giddy guys, you'll have to excuse me, alright? Dry shots. So yeah, and that is how quickly you go through a magazine on this gun. It's incredibly fast, unfortunately. Just a little point I'd like to point out: when you fire the gun, you get like a white mist coming out the barrel. Don't be worried that this is wasted CO2. All it is expelled condensation, and it just appears white. Also, a few other little points I'd like to just point out. You have to make sure you use 90-gram CO2 cartridges on this gun. Make sure that they're fully empty prior to unscrewing. Failure to observe this rule can result in a dangerous escape of the residual gas and lead to serious injury or death. Okay, so you know, before you go about undoing that and taking out the 90-gram CO2 cartridge, you want to make sure it's completely empty. It's not like a 12-gram one, guys, when you can, you know, unnip it and the last little bit shoots out and it's not a real issue. This is serious contained and pressurized gas. So yeah, again, safety, eye safety is advised to be worn when you're doing this. But do not continue to use pellets when running the last of the gas out, as this will cause pellet jams. So obviously once you know it's starting to drop off, continue to fire the gas so that the canister is empty, but don't continue to use pellets, because you're just going to end up with problems. So with all that said, it's basically a 50-50% chance of damaging your magazine each time you use it. So if you don't take it out in the clockwise fashion, you can risk causing serious damage to your magazine, which I don't think is a nice touch. The magazine itself also feels quite cheap and plasticky. It rattles. And yeah, but with all that said, it can be located into the magazine housing with a great deal of ease. I'll just show you. That's how you put the magazine into the magazine housing, which is lovely and smooth. I'd just like to point out at this point that the magazine design is a patent pending, and hopefully Sig will address any issues with it once their patent is granted. And it'd be a lot nicer if it was made from metal, or like an alley cast or something, just so it didn't feel quite so much like a Poundland toy, in my opinion. Again, these pros and cons are my opinion, they're my assessment of the rifle. You may think that it's completely wrong or unjust, but again, it's my opinion. this is another one I don't like. The balance of the rifle, in my opinion, is off. All of the weight is at the muzzle end. So should you start adding tack lights or any kind of additional kit to the rifle, especially at this end of the gun, it's going to really bring the weight of the muzzle down. If I can just demonstrate this. Right, this is me holding the gun with one hand. All I've got is that much purchase on the grip. So three fingers and a thumb, and my trigger finger is off and at a safe position. And there's a lot of weight on this part of my hand right now, and if I was to stay like this for long, my finger would be in quite a bit of pain. So it's important to get the weight balanced out by using your arm to hold it at the full grip. I think if this was my gun and it wasn't lent to me, I'd remove this and probably put it about there or there, and hopefully improve the ergonomics of the gun a little bit, because at the minute the balance is just too far forward in my opinion. So that is just the way it is. So yeah guys, that brings me to the end of my opinions and views of this gun. I'd just like to say again a big thank you to Pull the Trigger for lending it to me and for sponsoring AR UK. Really appreciate the opportunity you guys have given me, and you're a wonderful shot, and yeah, so thank you very much. It's most appreciated, and hopefully my reviewers will appreciate it too, because I can bring you guys more reviews and stuff in the future and more content. So please like and subscribe guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Just like to point out, I've run an air rifle group on Facebook called AR UK. I've got a lot of attentive members in there and admin. We all put in a lot of effort to keep that group good. And yeah, if you have any questions about the sport or about this particular rifle, I'll be on there to answer any questions. You can private message me, I will respond, or you could just write the question to the group, and then that way you get like a balanced response, because you're getting more people rather than just one person's opinion. So I won't waffle any longer guys. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate your support, and yeah, bye. Right, so here we are guys, down at the range with the Sig MCX. The rifle's cock locked, ready to rock, or it is now. Safety's on, and I'm just going to take 30 shots at this target at 15 metres, just to give you guys an idea of how well it groups. I'm going to be shooting unsupported, but from a seated position, and yeah, hopefully this should give you guys a bit of an idea of what the MCX is capable of. So guys, that's how the MCX groups from 15 metres from an unsupported shooter. I'd just like to point out, I was aiming here, and my group is obviously gathered down here, and the temperature today is about 15 degrees, so it's not a warm day, it's not a cold day either, but I think I fired in fairly quick succession then. I tried to get through the magazine fairly quickly, but at the same time give the CO2 a chance to do its thing. And yeah, I'm obviously, I haven't adjusted the sights or done anything like that, so I've literally just pulled the gun out of the box and started firing at a target 15 metres away, and every time I placed my shot I was aiming for this centre dot, and they've all gathered down here. I think that's about 1.5 inch group in there, and there's quite a few that have gone into that bit there, and quite a few gone into that there, so I think with a bit of practice and setting the sights up to my eye, this rifle would be able to group fairly well at 15 metres, which is not too bad for a plinker, which is, I think, is what this rifle, the category it falls into. So yeah, it's just a bit of target practice there, just to demonstrate what it was capable of.